Hello and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla 1.0. In our last episode, we finished setting up this initial smelting we're going to need for our bus, and I did some, and that included building this starting this copper mine, setting up a wall of turrets along this eastern border, and also we set up a couple of radars, including, and they have done their work. They have revealed a few biter patches out here, which the pollution is starting to reach. So the turrets will definitely help defend against those attacks, but we're going to actually have to go out and clear them at some point anyway, because they will start evolving more. And we don't need that anymore because I think we're already at about 30%. So the next thing we need to work on, though, is getting the bus started here, and that, of course, includes green circuits. Now, I started kind of laying out a plan for where I want the bus to be, and this is kind of the minimum size that I want the bus to be, which is 28 belts. Just to kind of quickly go over it, that's 4 belts for iron, 4 belts for green circuits, 4 belts for copper, and this is, by the way, the iron and copper that goes onto the bus past the green circuits. And then we have maybe a couple of belts of plastic, a couple of belts of steel. We're going to need stone bricks, coal, and sulfur is usually what I put in the next. Well, one of these two will be one, and one of these two will be the other. I could swap them. I might swap them. And then red circuits times 2, blue circuits, maybe batteries. And then these 4 will be something like maybe what's it called? Rocket fuel or whatever else miscellaneous type stuff that I decide to put on the bus later. And then, of course, I have plenty of space up here if I decide I want even more, because we're going to build down here. So as you can see, the bus is pretty far and well above the where it would even bump against this belt. So hopefully we can fit everything in here. If not, I can move that belt down. I'm not that bothered by it. And it's not going to be there forever anyway, because eventually we will be bringing in copper from via train from some other method, and then it won't matter at all. So I'm going to start here, and I want to give a little bit of space here in order to make some room for what I might want to have as far as sort of a bus I don't know, walkway here. So I'm going to leave maybe a dozen or so spaces, basically leaving plenty of space. And then we're going to set up some green circuits. And I want to use something roughly similar to this design, although there's one that's slightly more compact and also is a bit faster that I want to use. So I want to take this and make a few tweaks to it. But we're going to use roughly the same design. So let's start that. Actually, it could start over here a little bit further. But we can start that here. And I just want to make those few tweaks at this point. So let's take out this entire row just for fun to start with. And because we need to be able to bring in a lot more belts for this. So I want to take in 2 iron belts like this, 4 green circuit belts out, and then 2 more iron belts come in. These belts go... How does this work? I want to do this without the blueprint because I want to show how it works, I guess. Let's see, this one's going to go past. This one, though, is the iron belt in, and it's going to have to be picked up like this. Yeah, and then this one's going to go under, I think. And then we need outputs. How do we do the outputs? Why am I forgetting how to do this? Was there a space in here before? There is a space. There's supposed to be a space here. That's what the difference is. Okay. Let's pull this one up and slide it this way, just 1 space. That's the difference. That makes the deal. And actually, these need to be blue inserters. I don't have any belts. Okay, well, that's great. These need to be blue inserters eventually, but for now, they can be yellow. It doesn't horribly matter. But I do want those to be, that one to be 1 belt closer. So this goes here. And so that belt of iron goes underneath this here, and then these green circuits come out and go up like that. And then they're going to merge together with what's coming on the other side and kind of get pushed into the center of two belts, and it'll continue on. Meanwhile, this belt, why is it still does not fit? There's something that doesn't map right. Okay, I'm going to cheat and look at the blueprint, even though I'm not going to use the blueprint. Oh, that's why, because I did it wrong. This isn't supposed to be here. This is supposed to be here with the same flip like that, and then there's a splitter here that merges this into those four, and then we have the other two iron belts here. So, and then these come down like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the through belts for the additional lines down here. So the two iron belts come through like this, and then at some point you eventually do a merge of them. Can I paste that? Yeah, I can. You eventually do a merge of them together to shift the iron off of this belt onto this belt. And that's about it. So I need to go and get some more belts. And I can probably hand make some blue inserters with if I got some green circuits as well. So let's pick up some of those and some belts. Fortunately, we're not very far from the starter base, especially with the car. And so we can run up here and get those really quickly. I wish I had noticed before I started this, and then I would have gotten them beforehand. All you. I guess I should put some of these in a box. It'd be the smart thing to do. Okay, we're just going to let those handcraft. That should be fine. This was a good setup here that I did for kind of a starter base, just to get a few green circuits going, but eventually you need to have a larger build. So this larger build that we're templating down will should satisfy basically through the end of the game with some in-place upgrade planning. All right, so let's see. Park there. And blue, two of you. I don't know. Yeah, I do have enough. I should have enough. Everything else. So that's where the power poles go with this one. Just kind of similar to the way this one worked. Just a small change. Go there. Guess I can put these down too. Then blues. Okay, and then the blue belt, or the iron belts rather, still continue through here. And then, nope, that was wrong. That one goes that way. And then we can flip this around, sort of, onto the other side, although I'm going to do it kind of piecemeal, because I want the power poles to line up the same, although it doesn't horribly matter. Actually, let's do a little bit more work here first. And then you go there. And then I can kind of template this down a little bit. And then I need to have, I guess, this part first. No, let's do this part first. A little bit. Gonna mess up that belt, I think. No, it doesn't mess that belt up because it was already there. Okay, then you go there. That shouldn't have been in the blueprint. And then I can take this and flip it around. There. And then this one and flip it around. There. And then I want to just do these inserters by hand so that I can mirror them instead of having them be rotational. Particular, yes, I know how I roll. I'm going to put down some more lights here, though, I think. Go there with the last power pole. Okay. This goes up here and gets merged in. Merged in. This is a through belt here. Actually, I'll go down to that far. Because that's the end of where the machines go here. And I'll just go and fill at least this bit in. mostly. A little bit extra onto the top, but that's fine. And of course I gotta build all this myself because I don't have bots at all yet. Oopsie. Oh, I was standing there. Okay. And just these two arrays should be enough to get us going. Especially given how much copper and iron we have. This should probably be more than enough. Copy that, copy those. Alright. And then the other thing that I need to do is put some splitters here to be able to shift these inputs into those center two lanes. So then we have, of course, a copper belt coming down here, and there's two more here that we can bring in later. But I just want to put the space in so that I have it there. Like that. And that'll be the start of a green circuits array. So now we need some power lines over here, and I think I'll just bring them over. Yeah, let's bring them over from right here. Let's go up this high. Gotta get close enough to be able to place it, Wally. And this can be kind of where our power bus goes once I replace this with the larger power poles. Some point in the very near future. And then they also need a pass-through. They need to be able to connect to each other. And so I'll just add a power pole to the beginning side of the second one. Like that. And then that way when I copy this second one, like this, that way that power pole is there. And it's not a trailing one at the bottom. It's kind of arbitrary, but why not? So I'm smelting the iron at the top and the copper at the bottom because that's where these initial patches are. But it's actually backwards to the way that I want my bus to run. But I think that's all right. And by the way, the bus can, based on where the bus is positioned here, the bus can run all the way, even beyond this line of turrets here if we needed it to. And since we're building south of the bus here, I can build a lot of stuff. Like if I built above the bus here, then we'd start running out of space down here near the end. But we're actually gaining space on this side. And yeah, I could have brought the bus down here further, but then I'd be conflicting with this copper, and I didn't really want to do that either. So I think this works out best. So let's just do these 28 belt pointers here, and I'm just going to crisscross the iron and copper as it comes into the bus. But actually, in fact, we're going to have more iron and copper coming this far than we are going onward, because we're going to end up having 4 additional copper belts here and 4 additional iron belts here and 6 additional copper belts eventually, but only 4 of each of those are going to continue on the bus. So, or 4 of the total amount. So we'll end up with 10 copper and 8 iron at a minimum, and that's why I spaced out space for at least 10 smelters for copper here. So these are going to come down a little bit more, and then probably go onward. And same with this one. And we'll plute some more. And then I want these to eventually shift down here, but I also wanted to make sure that I didn't block the copper in. So the copper can come through here. And it's not lined up perfectly. Maybe I should line it up better before I bring it all the way down here. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry. Let's shift it down. I remember we have a lot more to bring in here, but I'm going to shift the copper down to these 4. Plus maybe these 2. No, I think I'll do it these 2. And then I can have iron up here at these 4 and then they can shift down at some point, and we can even maybe all 8 of these or something like that. I'll figure it out in the end. Actually, that's not end this one just yet. Let's do these. Let's do the topmost one, because this is the first copper belt. So we'll do like that, and then bring the other ones in to meet them. And so then I want to bring the copper down here. And of course, did I put that power pole right in the way? Yes, I did. Actually, let's just shift it over there like that. And splitters. And then we need iron on this belt. And actually, these should be undergrounds. And undergrounds. I suppose I could do these ones as well. Okay, back up a little bit, car. And then these ones here. And I guess I should have done the undergrounds as well. Oops. I always do one too many because they... Yeah. And then finally, more copper goes here. Now, of course, this is nowhere near enough materials, but... Stop. Go there. Okay. And then you go here. And so the reason I did these 4 plus these 2 is these are going to be replaced here with green circuits. Very quickly, actually, very soon. I'm actually going to condense these down into one belt before I bring them out of here, but at least for now. Take all these up. Here and there. Not you. Just take one belt out because we don't have enough anyway. And we'll go that way. And so these 2 belts will eventually be replaced by green circuits, but they can be 2 of the 3 belts that come down here, thereby ending before they get to the green circuits line. And then just 3 of these copper... I miscounted. Actually, 3 of these copper will go into here. So these 3 and these 3 will go into here, and then we'll have 4 more up here. Maybe I'll take... I don't know what I'll do. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll take all 6 of these, or all 12 of these. 10 of... Wait a minute, hold on. 12 of these 10. 10 of these 12. Backwards numbers. 10 of these 12 as copper, and then the 8 iron will be up here. And then we'll just shift the iron down at some point here after the green circuit array in order to accommodate entering it onto the bus. Whatever surplus iron we have, that is. And actually, it could even go anywhere after this point. So we could just do maybe right in here. And just do something like this. 4 bases. And I'm not going to do the whole thing because that's a waste right now of undergrounds. But I can do... First of all, I can do a balancer here. So there's another thing with balancers. Or with shifters, I should say, not balancers. Some people shift before the split off. Some people shift after the split off. I'm not exactly sure which one makes the most difference. I've talked about this before in my other series, and I really don't honestly know which one is better to do. I've not figured out the... Actually, I'll take 2 belts into the main area here. And actually, those are the middle 2, which was also kind of dumb of me. But I'll fix it later. I'm not worried about it. Nope. There, and there. And then these can just come down into those. I'll go and finish the corner here. And then we have 2 iron belts ready to come on to the bus. We can keep the copper belt going here onto there. And we have 1 green circuit belt. So we're pretty well ready to get started with the bus. And I gave it some thought. And I know I declared at the beginning of this no blueprints. And I could keep that declaration as true. But giving it more thought, I wonder if it's better to not do my own mall area and instead show off / feature / explore for myself KatherineOfSky's new mall for 1.0. So, I've never designed my own mall. I have done a boutique or strip mall style of building before, especially in modded series, because I don't have another mall at hand. But for my purposes, I don't find a whole lot of, I don't know, I guess thrill, for lack of a better word, in designing my own mall. So other than, you know, setting up, okay, well here, this is where we're going to make inserters, this is where we're going to make belts, kind of like how we did this, only to a bit of a larger and possibly more organized scale. I don't have a whole lot of thrill in that. So I think I'm going to just do, just going to use KatherineOfSky's new 1.0 mall. So I went ahead and pulled that down from her Google Drive. I will try to remember to put a link to it in the notes. But if I don't, then you can always visit her channel. It's one of my featured channels on the right side of my page, and pull up this mall from her on one of her videos, her current series videos, and which you should watch, by the way, because she's much better at this game than I am. And grab the mall, her Blueprint Drive link from that, and then grab her mall from the Blueprint Drive. So the mall is, of course, obviously already too long for where I have this copper belt, so I'm gonna have to move it. But I think at least for this exact moment, I can line this mall up. I'm going to give it a bit of headroom here next to green circuits, just in case there's other stuff that I need to sneak in onto the bus, maybe oil or something like that. And I'm going to just put the mall down in a blueprint here, shift clicking so that it will actually place. So the concept of a mall here is one centralized area where you can make everything you need to build your base in a basic throughput quantity while you're out building other parts of your base. So I think with very little exception, everything in the mall is a single, if any exception at all, everything in the mall is a single assembler for that item, I guess with the exception of gears and pipes, because they are used by so many other things in the mall that it makes more sense to have a lot of them. So we have belts and belt items here, and this would be the space for blue belts when we get them. The express belts, the 45 items per second. And then you have repair packs and radars and iron chests here, medium and large power poles with the requisite iron sticks in between to feed them both, walls and furnaces, and I don't know what this might be, probably electric furnaces. And then we have gates here and some other things here that we haven't unlocked yet in the recipes. And then lights and wires, and the wires are fed onto a belt here, which feed things like combinators, which this is probably another combinator or something, steel chests, and then the 5 logistics chests that we'll unlock later. And then going back up to the top, because it makes a little bit more sense to start at the top, we have an inserter array with space for the stack inserter and the filter stack inserter that are coming later. Assembly machines 1, 2, and probably 3 here. Electric miners here, of course. These are probably the speed modules needed to make the assemblers 3. A little filter inserter into a box to collect some pipes, so you have some pipes in a box to collect. Underground pipes, of course. Belts in order to make labs. This part to me is the only part that I don't necessarily think is necessary in the mall, because you don't need hundreds of labs, but it's here, it's fine. It'll make it 10 or 20 or whatever the filter is set at here, so it's fine. And then we have rails and their requisite sticks, as well as the rail stations. And signals must be down further. And then we have trains and engines, and that must be the oil refineries. Chemical plants probably go in here. Maybe this is where the rail signals are. And then we have... Oh, chemical plants are here. Can't tell what that is. There's some of the new icons I haven't familiarized myself with yet. And then we have tanks here, and probably the tank cars. Yeah, the tank wagons for the rails, pump jacks, and I don't know what that's going to be either. But so as you can see, we have a lot of things we need to learn yet, of course, and we have a lot of things that are here to build. So with the mall, you only want to build what you need at the time, just because there's so much here, and it's going to take a long time to kind of build it. And this goes, oops, all the way through. I got to be careful that I don't mess up when I'm building this, because I have a tendency to do so. But we obviously need iron here. And as you can see, one side of iron is feeding one set of gear makers, and the other set of iron is feeding, or two sets, I should say, of gear makers. And the other set of iron, oopsie, I just messed up already. And if you mess up, the easiest thing to do is to go and grab that blueprint again. Actually, I'm going to keep a link to this in my inventory. I always use my 4th row here for blueprints. And I can replace this blueprint and get that box ghost back. So let's do some of these. We probably don't need all of them necessarily. At least to start with. But let's see. Doot. Oh, there's some here too. And then, of course, these can be brought out to the power bus that we've started here. Actually, do this correctly the first time, but I don't have to redo it. We'll start there, go to there. Okay. Oh, and by the way, this bit over here, this is for other late game materials that is kind of an add-on mall that's in the it's in the late game portion of the mall that you just place on top, and it unlocks a bunch of more things that come in the late game, and you can see that those things are collected here on the bus, and or from the bus, and then shunted into here where those splitters send them into. So we now can make belts. We would need some green circuits here though, in order to have splitters being made, but we can now make some at least some basic belts here. Actually, I shouldn't have done that one. You know what? Forget it. I'll just do it. And I should do these as all the ones in one direction first kind of thing, so that I don't have to keep rotating my cursor, or my my placement here. And she has these all as level, or Mark 1 assemblers, I think? Yeah. Which is good, because, actually, apparently I'm placing Mark 1s. That's fine. I'll leave it alone. Because it'll mess up with the blueprinting later if I don't. So that should be good as far as that goes. Oh, we need to connect the power to the mall, though, I guess. And we can go there, and now that has power. So if we bring in the iron belts, I meant to do that, of course. And we bring this belt out. I can split into it like this, and I can... actually, what I should have done earlier, and I will go back and do, is always do a shift, output priority shift, on at least the belts, the splitters that are causing the stuff to force across within the bus. The pull-off one is up to you as to the situation and whether you want it to shift or not. But I always suggest that everyone do a shift, an output priority on any splitter they're using as a shifter within the bus itself. So that should make those. We're going to need to have, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 4. Green circuits coming in here. And sometimes this can get a little bit claustrophobic with the way that the things work. And if it is, you can always make things a little wider and do what you need to do to get things merged in. So as you can see, this has two symbols. So it's not a full belt of something like this one is a full belt of iron. This is a half belt of green circuits and a half belt of red circuits. In Katherine's old malls, she used to specify which side of the belt you had to put an item on. Since the advent of the priority splitters and the fact that you can filter them, she has instead now just used double splitters like this to say, okay, we'll split everything in half, and then here only allow green circuits onto this belt so that they can be merged with something else, in this case the copper cable, and they can share that belt without putting red circuits on this belt as well, like up here where there's red and green getting put onto this belt, and not there, that's undergrounded. This one here as well. So you can kind of see the difference with those. So in order to do that, we just need to force the green circuits to only be on half the belt, and to do that, we just use the trick we've used before a few times and have an opposite facing straight piece of belt like this in order to force the splitter to side load. And that should make all of our belt components, assuming that I put down boxes, which I didn't. And she has steel chests in here, and the reason for that, and it's a good one, is that steel chests are upgradable. And steel chests here, I believe she is using as a marker for where buffer chests go when you do the upgrade. And then here where there's iron chests, that's where just regular old provider chests go, red provider chests. So you can see that around the mall there are two different chests depending on the situation and whether you want a request to come back to bring stuff back to recycle it here, or if you want it to just be a regular old output provider chest. And so we're now past the amount of time that I normally would want to spend on an episode, but I think we did quite a bit, and you kind of get some examples of everything with this again. We have a new green circuit array set up here. We have the start of a mall here, and we can continue setting up the mall. I may run a few belts between the episodes just to save some time in the next episode. I may run like these other iron belts and whatnot, but feel free to grab this blueprint. Katherine makes it freely available to everyone in the community, and grab and set it up on your own. Follow the layout. If you have an early game robot technology or mod of some kind, grab that mod and let it build this thing like crazy. But a slight warning to be careful about it and make sure that you're not that you're not letting it build excessively, because you don't have a whole lot of items yet at this point in your game. Oh, I just realized something. I didn't put down inserters to put the stuff in the boxes. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave this for today. If you have questions or comments for me on the series, of course, leave comments in the YouTube comments, or join my Discord. You can find the link below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and consider the subscribe button as well, because those help me with my numbers and get my series out there to other viewers. And of course, check out KatherineOfSky's videos as well, and her blueprint drive, and grab this new mall blueprint for 1.0. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.